Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Commodities. And just before we start the Bitcoin prediction game here, I just want to point out that you can change your price over here up until the 20th here. At the GMT time on the 20th, then your price will lock in here. So you can either win a year's subscription to Trading Lounge if you come first, or there's 2 million Satoshis up for grab here. It's absolutely free to play. You can just have one entry here, but you can change your price as many times as you want up until this date. So it's the 19th today, so we've got 2 days. So if you want to change your price on this here, and you just go to the home page and go to Bitcoin prediction, and yeah, like I say, free to play and all good to go. So just wanted to get that out of the way and then come and have a look at Bitcoin here. So on the bigger picture for Bitcoin, we're looking at it with wave 3 and 4 here. Now the thing here is that this particular move down through here, we could put it as an A and a B and a C wave here, or a WXY. It does open up the door to a more complicated correction possibly being over here for this market. But the main takeaway here for hodlers is that this particular move down here is corrective. So in due course, we will be making new highs here. Now, on a more positive note, we could view this as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here for 1, and an ABC back for 2 here into the 50-60% retracement level. It's not like we've made a really nice high above here, but we actually have made a small high here, and also on the futures market, we've made a slightly better high here, but I feel like I'm on thin ice calling it wave 1 and 2 here, but there is a case for it at this point. Now, like I said, we could rearrange this whole pattern here to be more corrective. I mean, it is the old 69 high over here, and what the market is doing, it's come up, hit the old high, it's reacted back, and it's just going through the mid part of its battle to find the old high as support. The main number in here is the 65, which is a medium level halfway between two major levels here, 50 and 80. So definitely you can see that it being central here. It's quite possible that we push off from this particular point here. We can take a look at that. We may end up with a completely, WXY pattern, or because you can look at this in 3 waves here as a corrective pattern here, and you could also, there is a case for putting a 3-wave move here. You could also put this into a triangle pattern here as well. You could look for a deeper wave 4 here. There's a whole lot that can go on at this. This is the total crypto market here, basically, total cap market here. So once again, slightly making a new high here. So yeah, there's certainly different ways to look at this, and many good Elliott people will have different counts here. So I guess the main takeaway here is buying anywhere down on these lows here as a dollar cost averaging is pretty much the way to go. I mean, as I say to folks that are looking into Bitcoin, anything under anything under 100,000 would be, in my view, is cheap. So that said, let's just go in and have a look at Bitcoin in terms of the wave. This is my other charting program here, looking at wave 3 top here. Well, there's a couple of ways we could view this other top here as well, but I won't go into that at the moment. Looking at wave 4 here, we've been viewing this here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here. Like I say, this is also debatable in here how we count this. Now this is the little pocket here, the 62 to 65, but as I mentioned before, the 65 here is really the main theme through this particular correction here. So we're expecting to see support here now. Well, we're getting, oh, is it support yet? No, it's not support yet. It's come down. It's had its little bounce here in 3 waves. We talked about this, and we've talked about going long above here, but now we're down here. We can look for a better move here. We can look at this as from wave 4 to wave 5 here. We can look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 finishing off here. So this low can be in here, but it's a bit of a mugs game, me putting lows in place, but it's quite possible. Now we need to see evidence to the upside. So tomorrow we'll look for, this is how I've got it here with the A, the B, the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. Yes, there's overlap there, and you could count this in a lot of different other ways. I get it, but what I'm actually going for is just looking for support on the 65. So is it support yet? Obviously not. So we need to see an impulse wave further to the upside on that as well. We should also just have a look at ETH while we're here. And with ETH here, we're looking for the same thing as well. From wave 4 here is 1 and 2, and 3, 4, 5 here for 1, and then an A wave, a B wave, and trying to figure out a C wave down here. So I've got one here which is 1 and 2, and then the third wave is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third wave, fourth wave, and down for the fifth wave. I'm even 1 wave short here for this as well. So I'm still 1 wave short, but if it moves off here and gives us a bit of a go, well, then we can look at it. The other way to look at this too is not have wave 4 here, but have an A wave here, and then an A and a B and a C wave for the B wave up here, and then a C wave over here. So, and this may not even be it over here. We could also go to a triangle pattern with a C and a D and an E, but this would come up here further at that point. So there's a few different ways to look at it. But like I said, anything that's sort of in this low area where we currently are for Ethereum or Bitcoin would be, dollar cost averaging buying opportunities at this stage. But we don't have an intraday set up to go long at the moment in these markets. So that's the crypto market in a bit of a nutshell. So not a lot of change at this point. Let's just see what the market gods deliver at this point. I was hoping it would move up and lift up off the lows with the Nasdaq. We'll see how that goes. Now we need to look at dollar bonds and yields, and then we'll have a look at gold and precious metals and base metals and energy. So with the bond market here, it's pretty straightforward in that we've got a corrective pattern for the pullback here on the daily chart for the treasuries. And then, we've been working this to the upside here as wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and little 1 and 2 in here. So expect to continue to move to the upsides. I mean, even as a corrective rally, this is just not complete here, I mean, the thing is, too, is that I was expecting the bonds higher, the yields lower, and also the dollar lower as well. But the dollar is not really listening to the other markets at this point in time. So that chucks a bit of a spanner in the works, and we've been talking about that, and we'll continue to talk about that, and we'll go there after we've had a look at the opposite market to this. The yields here, we should be pushing down and breaking low, so that's good. So from the top here, we've got the A wave down here, the B wave. We could end up in some other sort of pattern here as well, but for the time being, I'll just continue with 5 waves down here. It may or may not be the case, but it still needs to work lower at this point in time. So we've had this as 1 and 2, and then we've had this as 1 and 2, and then we could see that this move down here was also in 5 waves with a nice wave 3 in the middle here. We're looking for some sort of corrective pattern here. Is it finished or not? Not quite sure at this point. It doesn't appear to be, but we'll see. It could just break lower, and we'll need to bring wave 2 into here. It doesn't really matter at this point. It's just not finished to the downside, and obviously coming into the 4% is a big number, but 10, 20, and 30 are also all part of Group 1, and they will offer their supports in certain ways as well. So we'll stay with the impulse to the downside, and with the bonds here, we'll stay with the impulse wave to the upside. There shouldn't really be any sort of issue with that, but I do understand because we can WXY this, it means that we should be able to get some more complicated sort of pattern over here as well. So we'll just be on guard a little bit. With the yield breaking to the downside, we'd expect the dollar to break to the downside as well, but it just hasn't been doing that. So the bearish pattern for this market is looking at this here as the B wave up here and coming down for a C wave here in this regard. And I just need to change that color because we're changing our color coding a bit, and this means that that could change to blue here, and that's that, and that's all good at this point. So I don't mind the B wave here with 1 and 2, but the wave 2 here, as I've always said, I just don't feel comfortable about it because it's just too big compared to this particular move down through here. But at the same time, this particular move down, I mean, because the yields are moving down, the bonds are moving up, we're just kind of expecting this to move down as well. I mean, if the yields are moving down, it's not very attractive to own the dollar. So, but, you know, maybe it's just the milkshake theory that it's the, you know, cleanest dirty shirt of, you know, in the pile, so to speak. This move down here does not count very nicely as 5 waves coming down here, so to have it as wave 1 is not that convincing. It can also be counted as corrective coming down here. That said, what we have been looking for and waiting for is the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. Now, it's quite possible to put that top in play here, but there also could be, in counting this up here, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4. So there could be one more little move here before we see this roll over here, if that is indeed going to be the case. So we don't know that just yet. But if that's the case, we'll look for this to move down with the yields at this point. Now, like I said, I don't particularly like the wave 2 here, and we could certainly configure this in different ways, and we can even have a bit of a look at that. But my main thing here is that if this is bearish, then we need to look at the bullish count, and the bullish count hasn't really changed. It's just looking at this as the A wave here, the B wave here, then 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5. But I don't particularly even like this 2, because wave 2 here from here to here is getting quite big, you know. I'll just remove this ABC here, it's just a bit of noise really. So yeah, it's, you know, not the best looking sort of impulsive structure to the upside, but it hasn't broken down, so we've got to kind of, you know, keep a bit of an eye on it. The other thing here too that I mentioned the other day, which is sort of worth visiting again, is looking at the US dollar bullish fund here, the US dollar index bullish fund. So in this case here, it's got the same pattern moving down here as the Dixie, and the Dixie also had this wave 2 here pull down lower here, and Dixie also had this pushing to the upside here. It didn't go as high testing the tops here, but it came up to about here somewhere. So it's kind of got the same pattern, but at the same time it's 1 and 2 and 3 up here that we've got. Well, in this case I can go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. In fact, I could probably put wave 3 here and look for wave 4 here based on what I can see in here so far, but for the time being I'll just leave it there. But I'm aware of that situation. But what you know, looking at this here, taking the top out here, it's pretty obvious that, you know, even if I did this the other way around, I'd still have this here with a little wave 4 to come in here, and then the wave 5 here, and then the wave 4, and then the wave 5 here. So, you know, I could play it out like this here. There's a couple of different ways I could play it out here, but my main gist here is that we still need to finish further to the upside here for this market. So if this needs to finish to the upside here, then coming back to the Dixie here in going to, this is, oh, it's just another pattern here, but coming back to the bullish pattern here, then it would suggest that we do need to come up here a little bit, you know. So I kind of wonder, you know, if we will finish this here as the A, the B, and the C wave up here for this, and, and then come down at that stage, finish this here and here, and then come down. So, I mean, the problem here is that because this is not resolved, we don't have a very clear, confident pattern on the euro dollar cable and Aussie and all the rest of them. You know what I mean? So we've got to kind of get this sorted out. So we either need this to break down, take this low out here, or this is going to get more, this is going to get more complicated here. And, as I just mentioned, I didn't mention it, but in the other one, we could probably look at this as some sort of triangle pattern here as well for this, We'll see how it goes, but it's just not clear to get a trend out of this at the moment. But the most interesting thing is the dollar bullish fund here that still needs to play out further up here. So it still needs to go higher here. But so while this is going higher here, it does make a triangle pattern, or some other complicated pattern in this zone here, more probable, sort of somewhere up here. It just needs to play out up here somewhere. It doesn't have to go very far, but it still needs to play out in this space above here, So yeah, it's just unfortunately not very clear. But in the meantime, we'll see the bonds move up higher, and we'll see the treasuries move down lower. Now, we may get a 5-wave structure down here for the treasury, or it may get rather complicated as well in this space here as well. So yeah, we'll just have to see how that goes, but certainly more downside for the yields and certainly more upside for the bonds. And the dollar, it does appear that the dollar does need to go to the upside, but how far it goes and what it looks like, I don't know. And because it needs to go to the upside based on the dollar fund here, a few more swings to the upside. I mean, quite over a fair bit of time up to the elections or whatever. It's going to make everything a bit difficult to trade, I'm afraid. Okay, so enough of that. We'll go over to the gold market, and let's just go to the daily chart. Start at the daily chart here first. So, in a bit of a nutshell here, okay, I can leave that here. That's okay. So we've got this wave 3 up here with an A and a B and a C, and I could put wave 4 here. We know that. It's a little bit sharp for a wave C, so it could mean that we could end up with, something else coming down here, so to speak. At the same time, if we could see some development here that would sort of offer some sort of impulsive direction to the upside, then we could look to go long, and then we could kind of consider wave 4 being in place here, because it's at the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree. It's at the 38.2% retracement level. It has got 3 waves here. Is it going to get more complicated? Don't know. GDX is the same as well. This is GDX here. So that looks like we've got some increased volume here as well now. So it looks like we could probably call this low in here now, I reckon. So what we'll be looking for now is increased volume to the upside, and yeah, and also a bit of an impulse wave to the upside. Now I can put wave B here and configure this, or I can put wave B and configure this as a WXY as well. So there's a couple of ways to look at this. But I think one of the important things here that I've mentioned before is that this low here is really where we were sort of targeting this to be here. Now, will we come down here again? Well, that's nice to see that increased volume here. That's exactly what we wanted to see. So let's just give that a little bit more time. I can see that we could view it as 1 and 2 and 3, and I'll need a 4 and a 5. So if we can get the first impulse wave here, then we'll buy the pullback on that. But I would like to have a look at gold and silver in this little configuration here now, because if GDX is going to go up, then these are going to go up. But I would like to have a look at silver first, if that's okay, on my little charting program here, because it's got a pattern here that we could probably bring over to gold. So with silver here on the intraday chart, but we've got wave 3 and wave 4, little wave 4 in here, right? So I'd been looking at this as the A, the B, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. There's nothing really sort of wrong with that. I see that we could configure it differently, but one of the main points here is that you can see that it's sort of been funneling into a point here, and now it's breaking out of that point like a triangle pattern, you know. So one way or another, it doesn't really want to go down any further. But now the point comes is that, can we get an impulse wave out of this? Can we get some sort of buying opportunity out of this? The first thing that I'd been mentioning is that we need to get back on support onto the $30 area here. This is a CFD product, so it's priced a little bit differently, but silver on 30 is a tested support. And a tested support, you know, it's okay to say, yeah, that's support or this or that, but tested support basically means that, very simply, that the market needs to go up, make the first high above the level, and then take the high out here. In a way, that's the simplest way to look at it. Now, you can confirm that with volume, and you can do it, you know, many roads to Rome, so to speak. But if you don't know what tested support is, or if something is support, then, because trading above something is not support, it's like these here. You know, it hasn't really tested it, hasn't gotten, you know, this is bounced back up. You always get a bounce off a big number, but you wait for the bounce, you know, and if it drops below again, then you've got to rinse and repeat. So what we're looking for here now is support, okay, a tested support. That would be the safe trade to the upside. Now, we have talked about being long in here somewhere, that's okay, and we're just keeping the stop under here, so that's okay too. We can talk about that later, but I just wanted to have a clean palette here because of what's occurred here. Now, we can get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here for wave 1 here. Now, this, we got a bit more difficult here, but you can see that we've got this as the A wave, the B wave now, and the C wave here. So we've got an A and a B and a C wave here. Now, this is quite a big pattern. It might be that I could also put this here as lifted up to another wave 1 here at this point. So what we need to see here now, based on this impulse wave here, we should be getting another impulse wave over here. So what I wanted to talk about here, and the gold's kind of going through the same thing, but not as nice. So what we want to see here is we want to see some sort of wave 3 here, and 4 and 5. Now, it may just take us to this point here. We'll have to figure out this here. We don't need to worry about it too much. We do have a position in here somewhere, so we put this wave 3 and 4 here. So this will basically give us a classic trading levels pattern at this area here. So we'll end up seeing a wave 4 here, wave 5 here, some sort of ABC pattern. And if we're going to be bullish, we'll be going up at that point, and that's where that next trade will come from, at that point there. So will we get all of this? I don't know. We just got to see. If we get it, we get it, and we take the trade. If we don't get it, we don't get it, and that's it. You know, it's not because the other thing here too that we're trying to avoid here is that this can be an A wave here, a B wave here, and a C wave here, and then come down again from this point. That's the issue here with this. So we could look at this as, I'll just put this here as a C wave, just so I know that you've been told. So yeah, so taking this trade right at this point here would remove this being a C wave here. Okay, so that's the beauty of this simplicity of this particular thing here. If you're currently long at the moment, we can just put the stop there. And I know we talked about being long. I'm just not sure where it was now. I'll just put it there. So, so that's that at this point. So pretty simple. But this pattern here, now we're going to relate this to US spot gold. So we'll take this over to US spot gold, and we're going to do the same here as well. Now, this market is a little bit different in its pattern. From wave 3 here, we've had this 1, 2 here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the third, fourth, fifth. So it makes a nice A wave, an ABC for the B wave, and then down for the C wave. Now, the C wave is a bit sharp to the downside, so I always thought, oh, you know, it's not like a lazy C wave. It's like that's, you know, under a lot of pressure. So looking at this as wave 1 here, and then looking at, do we have a wave 2 here, this wave 2 here, looking at this as some sort of, you know, ABC for wave 2 over here now, and then coming down at this point for wave 3, 4, 5 to come down here further. So it's quite possible, but in the meantime, so with that in mind, we can count 5 waves up here for wave 1, and the same thing we did with silver, the A, the B, and the C here for wave 2. So we can see that we've got a little impulse wave here. Not quite. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's going to be here, this is going to be a little ABC for wave 4 here. Not sure how far that will come down. Then there's going to be a little ABC pattern here. So that's really just going to give us a little wave 1 at that point. So we'll take that. We'll take that. So wave 2 here. So it's likely to push up further, and then it's sort of, let me just double check on this here roughly. So we're already at 50% there. So if this was wave 1 and we're having 2 here, the 3, 4, 5 is going to bring us up to 78.6. So we can manage the risk on that. So we can go long on that one here as well when you get that there. So in this case here, this is a minor level here, the 2,300 CFD as well. Then we've got 1, 2, and 3 here, 10, 20, and 30. So really this is the top of group 1 of this number here, of the 3 here. So this is subgroup 1 here, right? So that means that we want to get support. If we get a tested support here, which this will be the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, the ABC pattern. So in a nutshell, it's going to be this pattern here, the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level. So we go long above here, here, and over here. So we basically look for that B wave top there, right? So that's that B wave top to go long on. So let's just see if that plays out here, and that will give us our entry here. The US markets are closed today. In the next session Wednesday for a holiday, so expect lower volume, so that will probably help create this wave 2 here maybe, but that's where that is at the moment for this. So that's gold, GDX, and silver. So it looks like we've got a bit of a low. We've got, you know, we've been talking about this on this first impulse wave here, is like we've got a possible low in place, so we need to find our way in and way through all of this. And if this does get triggered here, then we'll be looking to add at the midpoint 50 here as well on that trade. So that's gold and silver, precious metals. It gives you a bit of an idea of where we're at. So now we need to have a look at. I'm not going to spend much time on these markets. We did look at nickel yesterday, didn't we? So we're looking at nickel being a rally here from wave 3 as an A and a B and a C for wave 4 here, then 1, and looking for wave 2 here at some point, some bounce off here somewhere, and 3, 4, 5 to move down a bit lower in all of this here. So nickel's to come down, so there's no story, no news there. I'll just have a look at what our commodity analyst is doing on these here. So let me just, let's see, algo on that. We'll go here, the dashboard. We'll go to here, commodities, commodity charts. I need to log in again. So let's just have a look at a few things here. I'll just have a look at copper. So 18th of June. So got wave 3, so it's looking, this is wave 4 here. All of this could just be a wave A here as well. It's I know we're deep enough here now, so wave 4. So if we get a turn here, we'll look for a long trade on that. And let's just come back up here for this and look. Iron ore still weak. I think he had a different count on silver, which I'll just have a bit of a look at here. So silver's got this impulse wave down here with the A, the B, and the C wave coming back here. Alternative wave 2 here for that. But he did have a good thing on silver, which I do want to have a bit of a look at, because I still got it as a wave 4. He's got it over here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 here. Okay, so he's got this as a wave 2 here, which is interesting. This is really just a dance at the 30 here. That's what you really need to kind of get at that point. Let me just have a look here as uranium here, which will be the ETF at this point. So I've got a slightly different count than Samni has got here, but so it can be viewed as 1 and 2 here. It can also bring this over to this point here and look at this as a B wave with a C wave down here as an expanded flat, just taking the low out here. We will go long on this when we have 30 here as the tested support. Okay, so that's what we're really looking for on uranium at this stage. And I'll do energy in a minute. I won't do the softs. You can do all that. Yeah, so that's that there for that. Okay, rightio. So I don't need to do all of that then. So I'll just look at natural gas. So natural gas here, this is just a 30-minute chart here. We've had wave 3 here with wave 4 here going up for wave 5 to make wave 3 here, coming down into wave 4 here. So we're going to look at this as the A wave, the B wave here, and the C wave here for natural gas. So some sort of B wave coming up here and then some sort of C wave coming here. And it's not going to give us much at this point. We're going to end up with it being a little bit higher up here for wave 5 of another sequence up here. So we could look to get a little, if this plays out nicely here as an ABC and we get the first impulse wave here, then we'll buy the pullback at that point. So I'll have a look at crude oil. Crude. I'm going to go over to this charting program here. So yesterday we were looking at this moving up here as the A wave, the B wave, and the C wave here. Still got a little bit more to go up here. And I didn't really get time to check to see if I need to use this one or this one, but either way, this is a 1 and 2 here, so we'll still need to come higher. So we'll be probably between the 81.30 and 82 area here at that minimum for this here. We were looking at where's the other, just going to the Elliott wave algo here. This is let me just get this. This is XOM here, and this is our algo Elliott wave algorithm program. It's also got XOM here as 1 and 2 as we reviewed before. So we're just looking for some support to come in now for this market, yeah, so anyway, so we should see this pushing up a little bit shortly. We should see this be pushing up, finding support here. I thought the 105 would be probably the lowest we need to come to in this, down to the 61.10562 is what we're looking at there at that point. Anyway, looking at this XOM as 1 and 2 at this point. So it does put a bit of a bullish spin on those markets. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.